She was a millionaire, pregnant and powerful, until one rainy night. She slammed her car door and ran toward a barefoot boy on the street. No one knew what would happen next. But 12 years later, that same boy called her on stage, and what he revealed left the entire room in tears. This is the story of how one act of kindness changed everything. The SUV slammed to a sudden stop, its tires splashing through puddles as rain hammered down like it was trying to drown the world. Inside the car, Samantha Vaughn, 32, pregnant, and wearing a tailored white coat, leaned forward and pressed her palm against the window. She had just left a hostile investor meeting, where men in suits laughed at her maternity leave proposal and questioned her priorities. Her head throbbed from holding back tears. But now, something outside caught her attention. A small boy, barefoot, maybe 10 years old, stood alone by the sidewalk. Soaking wet, arms wrapped around a tattered backpack, shivering but still standing tall. He looked too proud to beg, too used to being ignored. "Stop the car," Samantha said sharply. "Ma'am?" the driver asked, glancing in the rearview mirror. "I said stop." Before the driver could question her, Samantha had opened the door and stepped into the rain. Her assistant shouted something behind her, but the downpour muffled it. She knelt in front of the boy. "Hey," she said gently. "Are you all right?" The boy flinched at first, but didn't run. His eyes were big, brown, and filled with something she recognized, defiance and exhaustion. "I didn't steal nothing," he said quickly. "I just looked in the trash behind the diner." Samantha blinked. "You were looking for food?" He nodded once, as if ashamed. She took off her coat and wrapped it around his shoulders. "Come with me, just for tonight. Somewhere dry." He hesitated, unsure whether to trust her. She gave a warm smile and extended her hand. "I'm not gonna hurt you. My name is Samantha." He looked at her swollen belly, then back at her face. "I'm Jaden." That's when Samantha realized something. It wasn't pity she felt. It was purpose. In that moment, in the middle of a storm, two worlds collided. Hers filled with wealth and pressure, his filled with silence and survival. And neither of their lives would ever be the same. Back at Samantha's glass-walled penthouse, Jaden sat curled on the edge of an expensive leather sofa, a plate of pasta in his lap. Steam rose from the food, fogging up his glasses, which had a cracked frame. He ate like someone who hadn't had a full meal in days, because he hadn't. Samantha stood across the room, watching quietly, arms folded over her baby bump. She still couldn't explain why she brought him home. Maybe it was the way he didn't ask for help, but still clearly needed it. Maybe it was the echo of her own childhood, abandoned by her mother, raised in foster care, clawing her way out of poverty with nothing but grit and smarts. Jaden finally looked up. "Why'd you help me?" She smiled gently. "Because someone should have helped me when I was your age." He blinked, caught off guard by her honesty. Samantha turned to her assistant. "Get the guest room ready. He's staying tonight." The assistant hesitated. "Do you want me to call Child Protective Services?" Samantha shook her head. "No, not yet." That night, Jaden had a warm bed, clean clothes, and slept for almost 12 hours straight. Samantha checked on him 3 times, watching him like a mother might. When Ava, her unborn daughter, kicked for the first time that night, Samantha whispered to her belly, "You've got a brother for now." Over the next few days, Jaden slowly opened up. He told her about his mom, how she vanished one day and never came back, how he bounced around shelters, schools, alleys. But even after all that, he never asked for anything. Not toys, not money, not even another meal. Just silence and dignity. The media found out quickly. "Pregnant millionaire shelters homeless boy, publicity stunt or crisis," the headline screamed. But Samantha didn't care. She wasn't doing this to look good. She was doing it because Jaden reminded her of something she forgot, what it meant to be human in a world obsessed with power and profit. And even though she had saved him, he was saving her too. A week later, Samantha stood at the door of a cozy home nestled on a quiet suburban street. Jaden clutched his backpack tightly, trying to hide the tremble in his fingers. Inside the house, a couple, middle-aged, kind-eyed, and pre-approved by Samantha's personal legal team, waited with warm smiles and cocoa on the stove. Jaden glanced up at her. "So this is it." She nodded, fighting back emotion. "I wanted to keep you longer, maybe even adopt you. But I have a baby coming, and I run a company. And this couple can give you more stability than I can right now." He looked down. "I understand." Samantha kneeled so they were eye level. "Jaden, listen to me. You are smart. You are kind. And you are not a mistake. Do you hear me? His lower lip trembled. He nodded. If you ever need me, she added, slipping a card into his hoodie, you call. No matter what. Jaden suddenly hugged her tight, something he hadn't done all week. I'll pay you back one day, he whispered. I'll be somebody. You'll see. Samantha's voice cracked. You already are. As he stepped inside the home, Samantha turned away quickly, not wanting him to see the tears. Her driver opened the car door, but she stood still, staring at the house for a long moment. She had given him a home, but he had given her something too. Faith that kindness could still change lives, even in a world built on transactions. Back in her penthouse that night, Ava kicked again, and Samantha whispered, You've already met the best big brother in the world. And though their lives were about to go in different directions, neither of them would forget those 7 days that rewrote their futures. 12 years had passed like a blank. Samantha Vaughn was now 44. Her daughter, Ava, was almost 12, full of curiosity and confidence, growing up with every privilege Samantha had fought to provide. The Vaughn tech empire had tripled in value, and Samantha had earned her place in the ranks of Silicon Valley legends. But despite all the success, her mind still wandered back to that rainy night. She never heard from Jaden again. Not once. No calls. No emails. Occasionally, she asked her assistant to do a quiet background check, but the trail always went cold. Until one afternoon, a matte black envelope appeared on her desk. No return address. No sender name. Just her name written in gold script. Inside, a sleek invitation card read, You are cordially invited to a private gala hosted by Rise Up Industries. From the streets to CEO, a night of hope. 7 p.m., the Avalon Hotel Ballroom. There was a note attached. Please come. I owe you everything. J. Samantha's heart skipped. Could it be? At 7 p.m. sharp, she arrived at the Grand Avalon Ballroom in downtown L.A., a place usually reserved for movie premieres and tech summits. She was greeted like royalty, ushered past guests in gowns and tuxedos, and seated at a table with her name engraved in crystal. The lights dimmed. A large screen lit up with footage, urban streets, shelters, community centers, school programs, all branded with one name, Rise Up Industries. Then, a voice came over the speaker. Tonight, we celebrate resilience. We celebrate hope. And most of all, we celebrate a debt that changed my life. Samantha turned, her breath catching in her throat. Walking across the stage was a tall, well-dressed young man. Confident, calm, eyes full of fire. It was Jaden. His hair was short, his suit custom fit, but his smile, that same defiant warmth she remembered. The audience applauded as he stepped up to the mic. Samantha sat frozen, her eyes filled with tears, her heart pounding. 12 years ago, she gave him one meal and a safe place to sleep. Now he was standing in front of hundreds, a living, breathing testament to what compassion can create. And the moment wasn't just powerful, it was perfect. Jaden took a deep breath at the podium. The ballroom fell completely silent. I used to sleep behind a gas station, he said. I didn't have a family. I didn't even have shoes. But one day, one woman stopped her car. The crowd leaned in. She gave me a meal, a home, and something I didn't even know I needed, dignity. Samantha's eyes filled with tears as the spotlight turned toward her. Jaden smiled gently. Most of you know me as the founder and CEO of Rise Up Industries. But to me, I'm just a kid who got lucky because one person decided to care. A massive screen behind him lit up with photos, new shelters being built, classrooms with computers, young kids receiving scholarships, all bearing the Rise Up logo. But then, another image appeared. A still photo of Jaden at 10 years old, wrapped in Samantha's coat, sitting in her penthouse, smiling shyly at the camera. Gasps filled the room. Jaden turned back to the audience. This company isn't mine, he said. It belongs to every child who was told they were worthless. And it's built in honor of one woman. He pointed directly at Samantha, who saw a future in me when no one else did. The audience stood in applause, some wiping away tears. Jaden walked off the stage, right towards Samantha, and wrapped her in a long, emotional hug. You remember what I said back then? He whispered. You promised you'd pay me back, she said, smiling through tears. He stepped aside, and an event staff member rolled out a golden plaque. The Samantha Vaughn Foundation, Housing, Education, Dignity. I built this foundation in your name, Jaden said softly. Every shelter, every school, every saved life, because of you. Samantha couldn't speak. She simply pulled him into another hug, the kind only a mother could give. And in that moment, The woman who once stopped her car in the rain realized something beautiful. She didn't just save a boy. She helped build a legacy.